y'all, it's Flavis and I am back with another YouTube video. Here I am showing one of the couples poses I am working on in preparation for Valentine's Day. This is not a commission, but I do have commissions open, and the opportunity to request a commission ends on January 31st. Again, the last day that you will be able to request a Valentine's Day commission from me will be on January 31st. So be sure to, request a commission, whether it be a portrait, a digital portrait of you and your significant other, or you and a loved one such as your mom, your dad, your grandma, sister, brother, whomever. Be sure to sign up for a Valentine's Day commission because we do have limited spots available. So you want to be sure to, get it while it's hot, get it while there are still spots available. So yeah, and this is not the first couples pose that I worked on. I believe this is like the third or fourth, but I really like the way that this came out. It really challenged me to try different poses and try different positions of the body. And it also gives me practice with drawing men as well, because I mostly draw women whenever I do reference photos for figures. So this gave me some great practice with drawing the figures for men as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this. It was just, when I first started off, I started with the woman figure first, and then I did the man's figure on a separate layer. But when I tried to put them together, that was a struggle. So that is the part that was the struggle for me with this piece, was like getting a way to fit the layers together, the two separate layers that I created. But other than that, I feel like it was smooth sailing, and I think I did a really good job of capturing both figures. But for right now, I'm just going to let y'all vibe for a little bit, and I'm going to come back a little bit later. Okay, so as you can see here, I am working on getting the structure of her face mapped out. I just got done mapping out her hair, and I don't know if you've noticed from my other videos, but the way that I map out the structure of the figure is by doing different shapes and putting them together. So like breaking everything down into shapes, I feel like helps so much with proportions. Because if you're ever thinking of figure drawing, definitely work on your proportions, because it's just gonna make everything so come together so nicely. But if your proportions are off, I feel like the whole thing is gonna be off, especially if you're trying to work on realism. So the way that I found that helps me the most with proportions is breaking everything down into shape. So with the head, I do like circles and ovals. With the body, Sometimes I use triangles, sometimes I use like oval, circular shapes. If you would like a more in-depth video of how I break everything down, definitely let me know. I could try to do a video like that for y'all, just to try and help those of you out who are trying to work on figure drawing, because I'm not an expert by any means, but I am willing to give any help that I can to anybody who is interested. And then when I do hair, I always do the hair on a separate layer, because I'm not gonna say never, but I rarely keep the body sketch that I start off with in the beginning. I normally end up either deleting it or just hiding it, and just showing the ink outline layer that I do. So yeah, I always do the hair layer on a separate layer, so that way if I make any mistakes, I don't have to erase the hair at all. I could just keep it the way it is and just expand upon it. And also I found it interesting that the figure in the photo had like those little strays coming out of the Bantu knots. That's the first time I've ever seen Bantu knots done that way, so I thought that was really interesting and really unique. So that was fun to draw. And the angle of her face was kind of difficult, just a little bit, because it was kind of tilted to the side, but like her chin was like the bottom of her chin was facing towards the audience. So I was a little nervous drawing that, but I pushed through and I was able to portray it the way that I was wanting to. But yeah, just working on toning up her arms and also the other areas of her body, making sure I show the muscle detail and like the bone structure of her neck, just different stuff like that is what I was really trying to portray. And also, like I said in my last video, I really want to work on different positionings of the face, like profile view, front view, 2/3 view, all of that. So these couples poses is helping me to do that. Like these couples poses is helping me to really work on the different positionings or different angles of the face, and really push myself to do more and expand my mind and gain more expertise in that area of figure drawing. So yeah, but I'm going to let y'all vibe once again for a little bit more, and then I'll be back with some more commentary. So one thing I did want to make a note of is what I've noticed that's helped me in terms of doing contours and highlights, well, specifically contours, is I don't know if you see all those little pencil strokes on her arm, but I'll like erase the middle of that and just keep like the parts that I think would be good to keep for the contour. And what I do is I'll put the sketch layer on top of the outline layer that I'm going to create, so that I can go ahead and get the contours and lay them out that way, it kind of provides a template for where I want to place the contours at. So especially with clothing, I want to do a better job of doing like the natural folds of clothing and, you know, wrinkles within clothing. So I really feel like keeping those extra lines is what really helps with creating the natural looking contours that I desire. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, I would recommend, if you use Procreate for your digital drawings, putting that sketch layer on top and underneath the contour layer, so that, you know, it helps for you to create those contours that you're looking for in a more natural way. That's what helps me. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's what has really helped me to learn where to place the contours that I'm looking for. So that's just a little tidbit.
Always watch your back. Shit.
Okay, I have just finished up the drawing of the female figure. Now I am starting on the male figure. And y'all, I get so nervous when drawing men because I always want to do like soft lines for the structure of the male's face, but I know it's like harder lines along the framing of their face. And it's just like, I don't know. I get really, really nervous when trying to come up with a structure for the male figure because I want to make sure I do them justice. I don't want their face to look too soft in terms of the framing of their face. But yeah, I was struggling a little bit, but we got it together. I did think that again, like I said in the beginning, trying to put the figures together was what the hardest part of this was, because when you draw the figures separately, putting them together can be difficult. And so, but it all came together like it was supposed to. I just feel like his head was a little bit too big. But I also wanted to make it look like she was sitting on his lap later on in the drawing. So that's the only thing. That is the only thing. But we ended up getting it together and everything came together just fine. And it does look like he's sitting down. Because that was another part I wanted to make sure I portrayed correctly, was the fact that he was sitting down, and that didn't look awkward at all. But yeah, I really like the way that I portrayed the male figure and, got his body positioned the way I was able to position his body and get his clothing sitting on him right. So yeah, I'm happy this year, y'all. I'm telling y'all, consistency is the goal. Consistency, not allowing fear to keep us from doing certain things, because I know it's some men out there, hopefully, God willing, who are going to request commissions, and I want to be able to do them justice whenever they request those commissions. So it is necessary for me to practice this. So here is where you see me trying to fit the male figure together with the female figure. And I kept going back and forth with this, y'all. Like, I literally had to select certain parts of the body, move them around just to make sure it looked like they were naturally fitting together versus two separate figures that were put together and don't even go together. I'm a lot harder on myself than I'm sure y'all are, but I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my stuff, as the great Erykah Badu says. I am sensitive about my stuff. I'm sensitive about my craft. So I want to make sure I am putting my best foot forward in all that I do. So as artists, we can be our own worst critic. But again, like I said before, everything did come together the way it was supposed to. I just had to make some little tiny adjustments. And when using a reference photo, you don't have to get it exactly how the photo is. And that's what I always have to keep in mind. And that's what you should keep in mind as well. It does not have to look exactly like the reference photo. The reference photo is just that, a reference. You don't have to copy it pound for pound, stroke for stroke. You just have to try and get the general shapes of the figures. Just try to get the general gist of the positioning of the figures, and you'll be all right. And that's what I have to keep in mind moving forward whenever I do these couples poses or do multiple figures in a piece. Just keep in mind that the main goal is to get just the general gist of everything, and as long as you do that, you'll be straight. But once again, I'm going to let y'all vibe for a little bit more, and then I will come through with my final commentary. So this is the point where I really started to feel myself. I was like, okay, I'm doing a little something or whatever. You know, like I said, everything in the end came together the way it was supposed to in terms of the positionings of the figures. So here I'm just cleaning everything up, getting the folding in his jeans and in his clothing right. And now I'm about to start on his face. As soon as I, work on his hand and like making sure I get that on her hip, because in the reference photo, his hand is definitely on her hip. So I want to make sure I put that there. But yeah, y'all, I'm so happy that I pushed past my fears with this piece, because it was a lot of things that could have held me back, but it didn't. And I thank God that he guided me through this. I just thank God for this talent that I have of being able to create art, and being able to, replicate figures, replicate, if I could talk, replicate images the way that I see them, and just be able to add my own little twist to things. I just thank God for this gift of art, that he's allowing me to expand upon it and just get better at it every day. So yeah, I'm just really thankful to him for, just blessing me with this talent. And I really trust that he's going to help for me to go far in terms of my talent. And yeah, I'm just really, really thankful, y'all. So here I'm just cleaning up his hand, and I think, I'm about to start on the face now. And I really want to try and find my own style for drawing male and female faces, because I don't want to copy exactly. For references, for commissions, if people want me to do it that way, then that's different. But like when drawing images of celebrities or popular figures, I don't want to do that, because I want to be able to sell the imagery without legal repercussions, whatever. So I do want to work on trying to come up with my own style for drawing male and female faces. So if anybody has suggestions on that, of how I can kind of get better with coming up with my own style for drawing faces, please leave the suggestions down in the comments, because I do want to work on this over the next year, throughout this year, because like I said, y'all, I have some big things coming up. Hopefully in the next couple years I'll have some major announcements. So please, if you have any suggestions on how to come up with my own style of faces, please do not hesitate to leave those suggestions down in the comments. But yeah, as always, I thank y'all so much if you decided to stick with me this far in the video. I thank you so much for sticking with me, watching me throughout this entire creative process with this piece, at least the sketching portion, because I will definitely be back with the outlining portion and the coloring and contouring highlighting portion. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure you have those post notifications on, so you'll be notified whenever I upload. And please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much again for sticking with me, and I hope that y'all have a great rest of the day. And thank you again. Y'all be safe, and God bless.